What is your question you wanted to ask for so long? Sorry to keep you waiting.
I wanted to have a conversation on free will. Pleasure talking to you. I wanted to have a conversation on free will.
Free will.
Yeah, if that's fine.
What do you believe in, though?
Free will doesn't matter.
What do you believe in?
It's irrelevant to my point.
No, he's saying he's agnostic. You already told us.
Yeah, but it's irrelevant to the point right now.
It's relevant. I'll tell you how about now.
Okay. Okay, so the source of my question is, do you believe in free will?
As Muslims,
Yes.
we are compatibilists. We believe that there are things determined within the world, and we believe we have the choice to choose whatever is in accordance to our salvation. That's what we believe.
So,
Do you get what I said?
yes, I understand.
Okay.
The Earth is a test, right? According to your belief.
Right?
Earth is a test.
Earth is a test.
Your life is a
Well,
test.
life.
Your
Your
life.
life is a test.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Whether you're on Earth or Mars, your life is a test.
Yes, of course.
You're only tested. You're only tested according. You're only tested, rewarded or punished according to what you choose to do.
Okay.
So anything which is determined, like for instance, your birth, where you were born, how you look, how your family is, what is your language, these things you're not held accountable for because it was determined, right? So that is the point that I'm making this.
For example, did somebody force you to come here
No,
today?
I understand, but
Yeah.
based on our individual choice is free will. Just having free will, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm asking. Did anybody force you to come here, or you came by your own free will?
I didn't come on my free will.
Who forced you?
Did somebody force you?
Okay, now let me have my point. Because
Yeah.
we
Okay,
haven't
go
had
on.
the point, yeah? Right, okay. So I just wanted to come up with a few points and then I'll establish.
They get in the Quran.
I don't know. Here.
Oh yeah, very good. Thank you. So there you go.
There you go, John. There's a Quran for you. Yeah. Take care, bro.
See you. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah.
That's fine.
Right.
So, do you believe that there was that Big Bang occurred? What do you believe in? Do you believe in like a set variables or created?
Now we are moving into
Yeah.
a different topic.
Different
at
tangent,
all.
No, trust me. Trust me on this one. Let's go with it. So,
Let's go with what?
my question.
We believe what the Quran says, right? So we
Right.
don't take our knowledge about the cosmos or the universe just from what people say, right? People can have theories, people can say things happen.
We believe that God created
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
That's what we believe.
If that, in a nutshell.
Was there one point in existence that God created? So God created like things like instantly.
Anyhow you want it, yeah?
God created
Whether it's
time
instantly,
as well.
whether it's
When you say
Yeah,
a point,
everything,
God created everything including time.
Yeah.
he can create instantly if he wants. He can create over a period of time if he
Well,
wants.
my question is, did he, like according to your belief, did God have a set variables like time, space, everything at one point?
He created all that. All the above.
Created all of it, yes.
All the
Yes,
above,
he did.
yeah.
He created everything.
Now,
I'm sure we're gonna get the point soon. I know where he's going anyways, but
No, let him ask. That's fine.
all right. Now, do you agree time started somewhere? At one point, time started, correct?
Obviously.
Obviously,
If it was
okay.
created, it has to start somewhere. Sometime.
Now, so time started with set variables, correct?
Well, what do you mean set variables?
Do you believe in universe?
What are the variables of time?
As in the, what do you mean?
That's what you said.
that's what
You
you said.
said time started with a set variable. What are the
What do you
variables
mean
of
by
time?
I'm asking you.
Those were your terms, my friend.
Huh?
Those were your terms.
Yes,
Time
the-
started with
variables.
variables.
What do
Set
you mean?
variables.
So particle placement, the gravity.
Are you talking about
That's got nothing to do with time.
physical existence, or are you talking about time, which is metaphysical?
I talk about space and time or just time?
Time and space.
Okay, so it's a space-time continuum.
Yes.
Okay, is that what you're saying? Okay, what about that?
All right. So the root of my question is, if we agree that this was the start of time, and we're here, because time passed, correct? Did time not pass?
I don't follow what you're saying.
Okay.
Time is a change.
It's a change in.
Okay, is time linear?
Right?
Is time linear?
Time, look, you're going now to a theory of relativity, you're going to this,
No,
that.
no,
Look,
no, I'm not.
Look, I'll tell you what we believe. Look, we believe time is a change from point A to point B. That's what we call time. So you
in a
moved
nutshell,
right
yeah.
now, right? That's a change that changes time.
So everything.
That's in a nutshell, yeah.
So A to B.
basically.
Yeah, let's say it's linear. Okay, carry on.
Everything was set from B, A.
Yeah, let's say it's linear. So what?
So A had all of the set variables.
It started at A, went to B. That is one point in time.
Okay.
What is it you're trying to say from
Now
this?
let's make it like a C in the middle. Right?
Okay.
So A C, B.
Yeah. Okay.
And then you make me too confused.
Or you can call it ABC. We understand the point. Doesn't matter.
Right. So let's go to the middle point.
Yeah.
Do we agree that everything from this point led to this point?
I don't follow. What led to what? Are you saying it's linear?
Yes.
Okay, so it's linear. Then what?
So if time is linear,
Yes. Then what?
Okay, you didn't let me finish, but life is predestined. Like the universe has
Yeah.
there is
So for us, time is linear.
Yes.
But for God, there is no such thing as.
Okay, but I'm not talking about God. I'm talking
No,
about the whole
but when
universe.
you say predestination, you have to include God in the equation. You can't just say because predestination is predestined by whom? By God. Do you agree?
No.
And for God, there's no such thing as linear time and so on, or linear space or so on.
No, because someone can believe in a Big Bang, and there was a universe expansion, which means that there was a.
What does that got to do with predestination?
Because you asked me, you told me
Right.
if it has to relate to God. There has to be some.
No, I'm saying for God, things like time and space, He's not subject to them.
Okay, I'm not.
Because before time and space existed, God existed. Do you agree?
No.
Well, if you're talking about predestination and God, then let's define God and predestination
We don't
first.
need to-
Because we are all over the place
We
otherwise.
don't need to define it. We just need to have these 2 points.
Which points?
A and B. What you believe
Okay,
in.
from whose perspective? Human perspective or from the perspective of God?
Universal.
No.
The whole
From the
space.
perspective of God or from the creation's perspective?
Okay, now you're trying to force a person into believing in God.
Are you asking what we believe in?
No, you
Do you believe in a
mentioned
creator?
predestination. Am I right? You mentioned
Yes.
predestination. So predestination,
equivalent
wait.
to free will.
Can predestination be conceived without bringing God into the equation? Do you know what predestination is?
Yes.
Okay, what is it?
Everything has been set
By whom?
by the first starting variables.
Sorry, by whom?
Starting variables.
No. Variables are not something that they can think and imagine. Variables are just points within an equation, for example. I'm asking you, who predestined things to happen?
Look, his point is this. You say you believe in determinism.
Okay, actually-
Right? You believe in determinism.
Yes.
You believe in determinism. Who is the determiner?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
It's a simple question.
Or predeterminer, if you're talking about that.
We'll go with this. Okay. Let's assume that I believe in God. Right. Let's assume that I believe in God.
Okay, now you have to
So-
define God if you assume that, because otherwise we'll just talk, basically we'll be just talking to each other but not understanding.
There's no.
We have to come to a common understanding when we talk about God.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So we can skip that part. So God created
Everything.
everything, the
Yeah.
variables from the beginning.
Everything.
Okay. Do we need to go back to God?
No, we know
I'll
God.
leave you with him. Ashwin.
God is self-existing, uncreated. Okay, if we understand that concept, then we can move on to Him creating everything, including space-time and the planets, the galaxies, everything.
A to B.
Yes,
Do you believe in universe expansion?
I believe the universe is expanding. Yeah,
Okay. And do you believe there was a starting point?
there was a
There was a starting point.
of the universe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I don't understand why you wouldn't believe.
We will be asking
it's okay. Just ignore him.
Okay, I don't.
why you
Okay.
did not
This guy here.
distinguish
This guy's
yourself.
Carry on. Yeah.
Abu
So-
Qasim, who's a convicted terrorist,
Focus here. It's all right.
Okay.
Focus.
I don't-
2 weeks ago, and why you knew
If you
about
focus here and ignore him, if you can manage to do that, that'll be easier.
Alright, let me just.
Yeah, that's better. That's better. Yeah.
So if we agree A to B and universe that there was set variables created, then can we reason that everything was based on these set variables that God created?
I will not be going nowhere.
Okay. Which variables you have to define them?
So Big Bang. Do you believe in Big Bang?
I believe that there was this something that God originated with, whether you want to call it Big Bang or something. Yes. So the universe had an origin. The universe had a cause. Yes.
Yes.
And we believe that God is the one who created the universe and everything else.
Yeah.
Okay. And can we now move on from there? What is the point you're trying? Do you believe that, by the way? Do you believe that the universe had an origin?
No, I don't know.
What are we talking about that?
I'm asking you.
So what if he's agnostic?
I'm asking you because you believe.
I've already told you
in A to
several
B.
times the universe was created by God
You believe
at
in-
some point in time.
You believe in A to B.
I believe in some point of time God created the universe. I mean, I can't get any more clear than that.
So why would everything not be caused by the? If you agree everything was from a starting point and the universe has been expanding, why can't you select from this point and go to this point and agree that everything that was caused from there was from this point. Does anyone get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think you're trying to say that the time started with the origin of universe. Is that what you're trying to say?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
You're saying that everything happened and then cause and effect. Cause and
Yeah,
effect.
cause and effect.
Yeah, so cause and effect. So what caused the first Big Bang?
That I'm asking you, it's not about who created cause, because I'm acknowledging your process of you believing in God.
Okay, I believe in God. I believe God created at a particular time the universe. What is your question after that?
Is the point of free will? If you believe in cause and effect, how can you say that there's free will?
What is cause and effect got to do with free will? Where's the link between the two?
Because if your actions are determined from beforehand, how could you say you have free will?
Determined by whom?
By the previous point in time.
No, we don't believe the time determines our actions.
But you believe in A to B, a linear pathway.
That's why I asked you, what do you understand by predetermination?
You believe in A to B.
My friend, I believe time, yes. I believe
Yes.
time is a creation of God. I believe space is a creation of God. I believe in the space-time continuum. That means both of them are kind of together, yes, and
Yes.
linear, yes. Now, where does predetermination come in this?
Because you believe in cause and effect. The cause was God, correct? Then
For me, yes.
Yes.
What is it for you?
it's irrelevant.
It
right
is
now.
very relevant
No,
because
it's
you're the
not.
one asking questions.
No, it's not, because I'm trying to dismantle your thought.
Yes, you're trying to what?
I'm trying to dismantle your argument.
Dismantle my argument. I didn't make any arguments. You asked me questions.
Your
I
argument-
answered it based on that.
Your argument is you believing in God.
My friend, you're the one who came and you wanted to ask a question. What is the question you want to ask?
Mike,
Is it about predetermination?
it's about whether
No, let's
Islam-
let's break it down. Is your question about predetermination? Yes or no?
yes.
Okay. So what do you understand from my perspective is predetermination?
So-
Who predetermines? Who is a
God-
predeterminer
God-
in my worldview?
God determined the universe to start.
No. About predetermination. Who predetermined things in my worldview?
God.
Good.
Yes.
Now, do you believe in predetermination?
That's irrelevant. It's irrelevant to me, because you're gonna try and attack my view.
I'm not attacking your view. You didn't tell me your view yet.
Exactly. Because that's
How can I attack your view?
Because I literally said right now, if I told you, you'd try and attack it.
Also, you don't want to tell me that's the reason?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's,
good.
It's relevant.
Remain safe, no problem.
Yeah.
I won't attack anything if you don't want to reveal it, no
It's
problem.
fine.
Okay, look,
That's the whole
I believe
point.
in the creator,
Yes,
I believe
you
in the
just said
creation, and I
Just
believe
said
in
that.
predetermination.
Just said
So where is your objection here?
The objection was of cause and effect being, meaning free will doesn't exist. If cause
Why?
If cause and effect is you believe in cause and effect,
Yes.
then free will can't exist.
Saying because everything's predetermined.
Yeah, there's no cause and effect.
Yes.
That's his question.
Okay, so I believe that we as humans have consciousness. Yes? Do you believe the same?
Yeah.
You believe in consciousness? Is consciousness something that you can see? You can have, you can observe in a laboratory? How do you know you have consciousness?
Okay, you can observe consciousness if an organism is making choices, then
Then what?
That is sentience.
Well, an artificial intelligence can make choices.
Okay, but
Does it have consciousness?
exactly. So
What do you mean exactly? Does it have or not? Does a robot with artificial intelligence, which can make choices based on the programming, yes, does it have
Yes.
consciousness?
Yes.
I don't think so. I don't think you know what's consciousness.
I think because my belief is our brains are equivalent as machines. That's my.
Our
thought.
brains are not machine, bro.
Okay.
Our brains are much more, what do you say,
Alright.
complex than the most complex computers in the world today.
Okay.
All right? Your eyes are more complex than the best lenses out there.
Okay. But
What do you mean, okay?
Because-
Do you think the consciousness in you came from nothing?
you're not. Can you just listen to me? Just listen. A to B. Was this point?
You have been doing A to B to C for ages now.
Yes, but you're not understanding.
I am understanding. What you're defining is the linear time. Then where does predetermination come in this equation?
Can someone hold their fist up here? Can you hold your fist up here? Right? This point was caused by this point. Yes.
Say this point was what?
This point was caused by this stop. of
This
time.
fist was caused by this fist.
This is A. This is B.
Okay.
Yes.
And
So if we reverse time, we go back to the start. Do we agree everything? If we reverse it, then there's a linear pathway, correct? Either way, there's linear. Do you understand what I'm saying? All right.
I'm trying to understand cause and effect
Yes,
and
cause and-
predetermination. Where are we getting to with this point?
My point is, if everything is based on this on A,
Yeah.
how can you say you have free will? Because everything, if all of the particles are if everything, if you pause time right now, there's a certain part of particle placement. Can we agree?
Particle placement. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay.
And what is the point of that?
So that
What's that
means-
got to do with predetermination?
So continue time. We reach this point.
Yeah.
So that means if we pause time, that alignment of particles has led to this to this section.
Okay. And
So therefore, all of these particles mean all of these particles mean that free will.
you haven't thought it through, have you?
Yes, I have.
You haven't.
Yes, I have.
Okay. So if let's say, for example, a plan, an architect makes a plan. Yes. And the plan is executed perfectly by the builders. Yes. So the plan was to create a skyscraper. It was as a blueprint before. Yes, the architect thought it through, and then there were some people who basically constructed the skyscraper. Yes. You can bring cause and effect in there. You have a plan in there. Yes, and it was executed perfectly. And now we have got the tower built perfectly. Okay. God designed the world similarly. Yes, God had a plan, and then it was executed, and here we are today. So every action that we do, every action that the tree does, every action that the sun and the moon does, yes, is something all that was predetermined before. Yes, so God knew about this because neither time nor space he's subject to it, it applies to him. It was all something that was planned. Now, you're saying that, how is that not free will? Yes? Let me ask you this. That was the reason I asked you the question the first time. When you came to this park, yes, do you believe somebody forced you to come here?
No.
Good, so it was free will?
No.
If it wasn't forced, it wasn't free will, then what was it?
Particle placement.
Yeah, who decided to place those particles from A to B?
Start of time.
No, but who decided that? Did you have any...
That's what I'm saying. According to your belief.
No, I'm talking about you. Now I'm talking
My
about,
personal
yeah,
belief.
it's not your belief. It's about your perceptions. Maybe it's possible that we are talking cross purposes. We both are talking the same thing,
Yeah,
but we are
I think
talking
we are.
we are talking cross purposes. That's why I want to know from your worldview, what do you consider to be free will?
Free will is to make actions that are not based on
That are not
on
forced.
previous choices.
That are not forced.
That are not forced.
Yes.
Based on time, because if you base it on time, then me hitting the floor right now was based on my action
Exactly.
and my thought.
Exactly.
There was some subconscious choice in my brain.
Well, I
that
don't know
made
if
me
it's
hit on the floor.
subconscious. I think you came here consciously with your own choice and with your own free will.
I think I had a choice, but in fact I didn't.
How do you know that? Did
Because-
somebody force you?
No, no. Look, what he's saying
Is what?
your belief is that.
No, I'm talking about you guys now.
Yeah,
Did you,
yeah,
when you
okay,
came
no,
to
no,
the
no.
park?
Let me say what he's trying to say.
Okay, go on.
Look, so he's trying to say that if me a week ago, if God had planned for me to be here right now a week ago.
No, forget God now because you guys don't believe in God.
No.
So you can't say.
That's what I'm saying from your perspective.
No. Remember, you were explaining from his perspective just now.
Yeah, I know.
You said I'm going to tell what he's
I'm
thinking.
saying his point.
Okay, what is his point?
His point is that you see a week. Okay, no. I'll take a week in the future. God knows exactly where I'll be and what I'll be doing 1 week in the future.
Yeah, God knows everything. Yeah.
Yeah, and He knows what I am here now. But then what he's trying to say is what leads me to there is my actions and my choices, and that's free will. But if that is that's what you're trying to say, right?
Yeah, if that's
But you believe that's free will, right? You believe that's free will. Your choices and your actions are based on your free will. Am I right?
Free will. I don't know if free will is the right word.
That's the reason I asked, what do you understand by free will? Because we might be talking cross purposes without realizing it. So when you talk about free will, what is it that comes to your mind and your mind?
free will is a construct.
It's a construct, so you don't think it's real.
Yeah, I don't think it's real.
So as an agnostic person, you don't believe in free will at all. So every action of yours is determined by whom?
By the set point. But we don't know
Wait, what do you mean set point?
the start of time.
Yeah, but time has got nothing to do. Are you saying time determines your actions?
Yes. Yeah, that's exactly what
So you're saying what you're talking now is something based on just what time is telling you to do.
He's saying
It's
time
not-
has
not-
consciousness.
Time-
That's what pretty much he's now saying.
Yeah, every single particle placement, because we are made out of particles, right?
And-
If we go to a supermarket, we can get every single compound, every single chemical, every single thing that's made of our body, right?
Okay, so you're made of molecules and atoms.
Yes.
And what?
And those molecules are controlled by time, correct?
No. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
It's not a conscious being.
Exactly.
Time is just a
Okay,
game.
okay. Let me rephrase. Time restricts the particles.
No, time is only the difference from point A to point B. So for example, you might have a body right now, you know, your cells are regenerating every time. So maybe when you were young, yes, your body wasn't the same. Your body has now grown, even though it's still your body, it has grown now. You see, so from time of your childhood to the time of your teens, maybe, you have grown in size. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Do you think that time was the one who actually made you grow? Or time is the factor that you see that you have grown from childhood, so it's just a measure of point A to B. It's just a concept actually. Do you know that? Time itself is a concept, and time is what determines your difference between your childhood to your teen, to your adolescence, and maybe to your adulthood later on. But this is what I'm saying. But you cannot say, wait, you cannot say that time was the factor which was responsible for your body changes. Your body changes are for your chemicals or your biology or your physiology which has changed. But it wasn't. The time is just a measure of from point A to point B how your body has changed. Time had nothing to do physically with your body whatsoever.
Time is not like they're controlling.
Yeah.
you, telling you.
You know, because you know when we tell our children to do a certain action, they do it because they obey us as our children obey us. Well, most of them at least. Yes, the parents. So we are actually somehow telling them what to do, and they are obeying us. So you see that change in their action is based on what we instructed them.
Yeah.
And the same thing with the computers, you know, when you
What
actually
about-
program a
what about
computer,
God?
they follow certain instructions and they go.
Yeah.
But you cannot say time is not
But is
something
it
like you
God
said,
that's instructed
time doesn't
me
have
to do
consciousness like the way you have consciousness.
Is it God that instructed me to do stuff? Though?
No, God tells you to do certain things. Now it is up to you to obey or to reject God's commandments, and that is what we call the difference
But
between.
God knows if I'll reject them.
Yeah, of course God knows.
Okay.
And what is the point? If God knows, it's like your teacher who's been teaching you for the whole entire year. Yes, she knows in your class who's going to fail and who's going to pass based on how hard or how
would
how hard
God-
they work and how much they run.
Why would God make me reject him?
No, you're the one rejecting.
Yeah, but
So-
he made me.
Listen,
and he made
God
me
gave you
do-
certain faculties.
He knows, but he hasn't decided.
No, it's down to you.
Okay, but if he knows what's gonna happen next week and everything in the rest of the world, then I can't change that.
My friend, it's like the example of the teacher and student.
I know, but look, if
All knowing. That's the point I'm trying to make.
yeah, he's all knowing.
Hear me out. Look, I'll give you an example. You might understand better with that. Imagine there's a teacher. Well, there's.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
What am I
I
saying?
just mean that
What am I saying?
you're saying that God knows everything, and God knows what I'm gonna decide, but He doesn't decide what I'm gonna decide.
No, he doesn't basically force you to decide.
exactly, that's
He
exactly
doesn't
what-
force you. So, for example, if God wants to
Use a
give you,
different
if God, I let you because you're saying the same thing over because
No,
you're
I'm
not
not-
letting
I
me
haven't said
finish.
the same thing once.
You did not let me finish the parable with which you'll be able to understand this whole concept very easily. Yes.
Okay, we can't
If a teacher in a class knows the
Yeah.
good students from the bad students, yes, and the teacher says for certain these students who are not working hard are going to fail.
Yeah.
The teacher knows this.
Yeah.
When the test comes, yes, and they have given the test, and when the results come, the teacher knows that these are exactly the students that he had pinpointed
Yeah.
to be failing. Now, whose fault it is that they failed? The teachers who knew that were going to fail, or the students who did not work hard that they
The
failed?
teacher didn't know that before they started working on it.
No, I'm saying from the year before the test, the teacher knew who was going to fail before the test, because throughout the year he has been with them, so he knew before the test was
Yeah.
given who amongst the students are going to fail, because he knew that they were not working hard. Now wait. The question is this: now, would you blame the teacher for the failure, or would you blame the
No,
students for
I'd
the
blame
failure?
the student for the
Exactly.
failure. That's not what I'm saying. Look,
Exactly.
I'm wondering-
So even though the teacher knew this,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
you cannot blame him.
I understand.
Same thing with God, my
agree.
friend. Same thing with God. If God gave you certain commands and certain instructions, and if you willingly reject them, after it's become clear to you, you cannot blame God.
Yeah.
Okay, now.
I can leave. Actually, wait. Do we have to leave right now?
Did you understand the concept of
Yeah.
test? Because you see, this world is a test.
Yeah.
We have things which are good things and bad things in our life.
If God knows that we're going to regret, if God knows that we're going to rebel before He creates us, why would He then create us?
So that on the day of judgment, you cannot say that God, you didn't give us a chance.
No.
This is your chance now.
But if He created us, and
your life is 60, 70, 80, 100 years.
Wait.
I think that is enough time for you to prepare for the test. Yes?
Yeah.
And if you still fail
to
to
reject,
reject,
we're going to fail the test.
No.
Then why would He create us
Look.
to fail the test?
Because like I just told you, on the day of judgment, you will say, if God puts you on the day of judgment in hellfire, yes, you will say, God, you didn't give us a chance. You didn't give us a chance to prove ourselves.
Even if he knew, it wouldn't affect free will. That's what he's thinking. Even if he knows that what you're going to do is not going to affect your free will. That's what he believes, right?
Because just like nobody forced you guys to come to the park here today, yes,
exactly.
you will still have to realize that this was by your own free will that you came here.
No, but that's not what
No one forced you to come here.
No, that's not what I'm asking. Look, if God knows I'm going to fail,
Yeah.
wait, does God know?
God knows everything. God knows everything about the future.
Okay. If God knows when He creates me,
Yeah.
what my judgment is going to be, does He know that?
Yeah, just like the teacher knows who's going to fail and who's going to pass.
Okay,
What teacher? How is the teacher?
Because you were not listening that time. When I was giving the example, you were not listening. He understood it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
A teacher who's been teaching the class for a whole year knows which students are going to pass and who's going to fail. Even though the teacher might not be... Let me finish.
No.
Even though the teacher might not be 100% correct all the time, but God is 100% correct. Because in his case, it's not just assumption. In his case, it is something which is definite.
He thinks.
That's the teacher thinks.
So it's not...
That's why I said it's an assumption from the teacher.
No, but you said no. You didn't say
What do you mean
assumption.
no? I said even though it's not 100%
No,
in the
I
case of the
understand
teacher
what
all
you're
the
saying.
time.
Beforehand, you're contradicting.
Yeah, he understood the point anyway. If you want to understand God being the cause and this is the effect basically, then you have to realize that God has already told you and me what is going to be good for you and what is going to be bad for you. But if you consciously decide that I'm going to reject even God's existence, then who is to blame, my friend?
Listen. If God knows creating me,
Yeah.
that I'm going to reject Him my entire life, get sentenced and go to hell, why would He then create me?
Because everyone who thought like that, somewhere in their lifetime said, no, I think I have to change my ways. And now I'm going to be... Wait a minute.
Through their lifetime.
Yeah, but you know God has a right to create you. You cannot tell God whom to create and whom not to create.
I know.
So who are you?
I'm asking
You
why
cannot
would-
even determine whether you have consciousness or not in a laboratory. You think you're a bunch of atoms and molecules.
No, I didn't.
Yes?
We literally are.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't... But where is the consciousness? Is your consciousness molecules and atoms?
Yes.
Ah, that's why it's wrong. Because that is, you know, you know what?
Major brain trauma, your consciousness can go.
Well, I don't know about your
There's
traumas.
evidence that
You
it's-
should go to the hospital if you got a
Yes,
trauma.
exactly.
Why don't you go and look up this phrase on the internet? It's called the heart problem of
Study major
consciousness.
brain trauma
Yes?
and see
Go
what's
and look it up.
happened to that.
Why do the scientists still consider it to be the heart problem of consciousness?
This is the exact reason of like weed. Like it just fries your computer. Like
What fries your computers?
Like, this is
Bad
my
electricity in your house?
If you're,
Okay, too many short circuits here. Look, I'm telling you, go and look up this phrase. It's called the heart problem of consciousness. You know why? Because consciousness is not something material. You can go and study in a laboratory. Yes, and you should know this. Okay, anyway, thanks for your time, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, take care, brothers. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallah khair, brother. Inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Hope this video was helpful for you. This may help others too, so please consider sharing, and we will bring more videos in the future, inshallah. So consider subscribing and you won't miss any. Jazakallahu khairan.